Hey guys, it's Mama Bear from Mama Bear's Backpack. Today I am filming a bit of a prepper challenge. Uh, Prepper Potpourri issued a July and August challenge to consider what would you do if you had no hydro for 24 hours. How would you get through that day? She suggested that you actually practice it and go through the scenario as if it was real. Now, for me, I can go back to, I remember power failure for the entire province a number of years ago when I had small children. I can remember an ice storm that was just a couple of years ago. I can remember a Mississauga train derailment. So I know there are some things that are valuable lessons that have happened in my lifetime, and I'm not 50 yet. This is what I've come up with on how I would cope. Okay, so the first thing we would realize is we can't have a shower in the morning. Okay, I still need to brush my teeth. I have bottled water in the house at all times, not always abundant amounts of it, but I do have some drinkable water in the house, and I would need to brush my teeth and get ready for work. Because I live down the street from work, like I can walk, and I would be one of the ones they call on to come and man the store and unload coolers and refrigerators and things of product that is spoiling and moving it to the dumpster. We can't have product sitting there wasting, or we can't have it contaminating the counter if it becomes wasted. I would plug in my landline. Right now I have a cordless phone, and it doesn't work if there's a power failure, but this does. So I would make sure this is plugged in. I would fix my morning coffee because I have withdrawal headaches. If I don't have my coffee, I would make sure I have a cup of coffee. Now this little device, I just love it. It has a screen in the bottom, and you just put your measured amount of coffee in there for one person. You put the top on, which has got holes in it, and you set that on top of your coffee cup. And you pour your boiling water in the top, and it just filters through and gives you 1 cup of brewed coffee. I'm a single mom. I don't have to fix coffee for anybody else. I would use the remaining amount of my bottled water on my backpacking camp stove and my little trusty canister, and I would have my coffee and head out the door. I would have to make sure that the kids are alert to what's going on. This is a normal, everyday occurrence in my house. There is water in some dishes in the sink. I have a dishwasher, but do you think that the dishes actually make it to the dishwasher without Mama nagging? Not a chance. However, in this case, we're going to need gray water for flushing the toilet. If the water treatment plant goes down as well as the hydro going down for whatever reason the system is down. So I would first off grab this gray water, and I have a container I would use as a dishpan, or a bucket that I would use as a dishpan to move that stuff up to the bathroom. And then make sure the kids understand. My kids are young adults, so they're not little. The theory of if it's mellow, let it yellow. If it's brown, flush it down. And I would have to make sure they know that. Don't flush it unless you need to. Then this water would be used to help flush through any solids that need a little bit of help moving along. I would make sure my kids knew to leave the refrigerator closed as much as possible throughout the day. Only open it once you've already decided what you want. I do have the occasional water bottle popped in here for when I go on a picnic with the kids. This is perfect because it defrosts through the day and you drink it as you go. I also have just empty juice bottles. I've got a couple of them in here. They would keep the contents of my freezer cold a little longer, and once they've defrosted, I now have drinking water again because this is just tap water that I've popped in here. So at the end of the day, I've come home and looked at my freezer and recognized that the products that are perishable are going to, and don't hold a freeze, are going to defrost quickly. So that would be my hamburgers. Pop them on the grill. If I run out of propane, I also have a chimney and a small wood pile over there in the corner. I recognize that I need to restock that as I'm doing this video. So as I've come back from work and I've fixed dinner, and now I have to address dealing with the dirty dishes, I might sacrifice a bottle of water. I might scout around my property and see what I've got for water. I have some water in my pond, and this is very algae laden. It's been a very dry summer, And I don't have any fish in there right now. They all, this water's probably sick, but I could use this for flushing my toilet. I might be able to put my filter through it and use it for boil it or treat it with tablets if I needed to. I don't know if I want to or not. I recognize at this point that I also need to have some rain barrels added to my system. So here I have a case of water. I usually have one laying around. I have my backpacking water treatment system that will filter out bacteria and spores, Cryptosporidium, Giardia, all that stuff. I'm not sure if I would trust it to treat that pond water. It's pretty grim looking out there. I do have Aquatab. It's a chlorine-based tablet for treating your water. One tablet treats a liter, so I would use a jug that I know the measurements of, or that has measurements on the side of it, and treat the water accordingly. Rainwater, I would trust to just use my filter. The filter and the tablets together, perhaps, and boiling even, perhaps that pond water might be okay. It'd be great for flushing the toilets though, not a problem with that. So as that, we've got the water done, we've got the dishes done for the night, we've taken care of the flushing. It's starting to get dark. I have headlamps and flashlights galore. I have lots of candles. Always have candles in the house. One of the things about having candles in an emergency is you have to have a container that can safely house a candle and not be a risk of tipping over or catching someone's clothing or curtains or anything like that. I also have a couple of these lanterns with the glass all around them to prevent any flames catching anything. So as I'm heading to bed, I am going to want to charge my cell phone because it's probably got me through the day. I have this lovely little thing. It is a crank powered and solar powered radio, alarm clock, and it has a USB and micro USB port on it for charging cameras and phones. And then I would have my alarm clock to get up in the morning. I have a few alternatives for cooking or boiling water. I've used this before when we had an ice storm and the hydro was out. Parts of our town were out for over a week. I was very fortunate. I was only out for about 12 hours. But this little fondue pot, you put your alcohol fuel in there, just the sterno or whatever, and you ignite it, and that can go under your pot and boil water. Or if you've got something heavier, cream-based or chocolate or cheese-based, you know, like a fondue, you would use this with water in the insert. But when I was serving coffee and hot chocolate to the neighborhood visitors who were, you know, my house is fairly new, so it was well insulated, I used this to make hot boiling water to serve a bunch of people some hot beverages after they had come out of their freezing cold homes. Always abundant amounts of food in my house. Now this is my baking cupboard. I could bake breads and stuff, but my canned goods are in another cupboard. This is my dry goods. I can feed people. I've got enough to make pea soup. And if the ham is defrosting in the freezer, I can take those peas and some water and I can boil that up on my chiminea or my barbecue. This is even suitable for, this allows me to leave the canned goods and eat some fresh goods instead. As the days progress and the hydro's out longer, you're going to need some entertainment. My house always has some entertainment. Cards Against Humanity is a big hit with my kids. We laugh our butts off. I have regular playing cards, a book full of game instructions. There's maybe 8 or 10, 12 games in there. Plus we have dice, and we have a few games that we play on a regular basis that involve dice. Like Yahtzee, I have a Yahtzee pad in another cupboard, and we play a game called 10,000 where we count the ones and the fives and the three of a kinds and come up with 10,000 points. I think that's it. I have addressed lighting, I have addressed water, I have addressed cooking, I have addressed sewage, I have addressed personal hygiene. Oh, I would warm up water in my pot and I would pour it into a bucket and then just have a sponge bath from that. And if I needed to shampoo my hair, I would have a little cup that I would use that to pour over my head. And if it got to the point that I needed to do laundry, I have larger buckets. I would then be saving rainwater any way I possibly could. And I would, with as little soap as possible and a little bit of water, which again becomes your gray water when you're finished with it, I would wash out a few items of clothing, the lightweight things, maybe perhaps not denim. And then can you see it? I do have a clothesline, so I would be taking advantage of the clothesline. That's it, guys. There are some things I'm sure I would feel stressed to not have in my house if the grid went down, or if I had to support my family for more than just a couple of days, but that means I have some thinking to do, I have some studying to do, and some prepping to do. Imagine that, Mama Bear's backpack is considering prepping. Thanks, guys. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and go visit Prepper Potpourri and check out her challenge.